Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. My name's Kevin May. I'm the editor and co-founder of tnooz.com. So welcome to another tnooz webinar today, produced this time in association with Sabre Travel Network. Thank you very much to Sabre for collaborating with us on this one. And this is the title of our webinar this afternoon, Airline Ancillaries, What's Working Today? ? So thorny issues, really interesting debates, and there's some really exciting things happening in this space. There are new airline ancillary products coming on stream all the time, and the technology and the process behind them, which actually power this and allow people to connect to airlines and intermediaries in much more meaningful ways. It's a really exciting time. It's a controversial time, but that's why we're here to discuss this today. So what we've done and what you're going to hear over the course of the next 60 minutes or so, probably less than that now as it's just past the hour, three brands are going to talk to you about the lessons that they've learned and some of the capability that they've been putting into their own systems and the way they talk to their own clients about various things. So, as always with these sessions, we have a range of panelists. We have the opportunity for you all to ask questions during a Q&A at the end. Please don't worry if you have to dip out at any time, or if you therefore want to share the webinar with colleagues or customers or contacts later on. We are recording the entire thing, and every slide that you see here today will also be included on a post that we hope to get up on tnooz by tomorrow morning. That's Thursday morning UK time. So I'm joined, as always, by my glamorous producer and CEO and co-founder of tnooz. He's Gene Quinn. It's the nice-looking chap you can see there on the right-hand side of your screen. And our panelists are as follows. So we have Shelly Terry, who's the Vice President at Sabre Travel Network. She's in Texas today. We have Aldo Ponticelli, who's the VP of Distribution at Alitalia. He is in Rome. And we also have Liz Mandarino, who's the President at the World Travel Incorporated, and she's in Pennsylvania. I'm in the UK, Gene is in Connecticut on the East Coast, so we've got a nice spread geographically for all of you. So, as I said, you can send your questions in for the Q&A at the end of the session by simply using the question functionality that is on the right-hand side of your screen. So feel free to send those questions throughout the three presentations that you're going to hear, and we will get to them at the end. As always with a tnooz webinar, we like to keep you guys involved not only with the Q&A, but also by going through a series of polls. Very simple to do, but we do have one here to test you all and just to make sure that you're familiar with the functionality. So very simple question there. I hope it's simple for all of you. Where are you located? So if you'd just like to select one of those four options now, just so that you can test the system. And then if we can show those results there, Gene, that'd be great. So the results are as follows: 2/3 exactly of you are in North America today. Welcome. 28% of you are in EMEA, 3% in Latin America, and always unsurprisingly, given the time of the day, just 2% of you in Asia Pacific. It is late evening or indeed in the middle of the night. So to tee us up for what you're about to hear over the next, let's say, 40 minutes or so as we go through the presentations, we have another poll for you. So same rules apply. Please tick one of the three options. In your opinion, are sales of ancillary products working, to go back to the title? So yes, travellers and suppliers understand the benefits. In parts, it kind of depends on the carrier. No, it's confusing and needs more organising. So starting to see some of those votes coming in, so thank you very much. Over half of you have now voted. And I think we're probably at the stage, Gene, where we can show those results to everybody. So, I'm not sure if this is surprising or not, but maybe our panel can get to this at the end. So just over half of you, that's 53%, say no, it's confusing and needs more organising. So 41% of you say in parts it does depend on the carrier. A lowly single digits of 7% there say yes, travellers and suppliers do actually understand the benefits. So you could argue that a lot more work needs to be done by everybody because it is indeed confusing and needs more organising. So thank you very much, everybody, for voting in our second poll. So I guess it now makes sense for me to hand over straight away to Shelly Terry. As I said, she's in South Lake at Sabre HQ in Texas, there in the US. She is the VP for Supply and Merchandising at the Travel Network there at Sabre. Good morning to you, and Shelly. It's morning your time, it's afternoon my time. I'm now going to hand over to you. The floor is yours. We're very much looking forward to what you've got to say.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I truly appreciate it, and thank you to tnooz and to Jean. We certainly value your partnership and appreciate the opportunity to talk about this very important subject. So I'm going to kick things off here, so if we go ahead and go to the next slide. And I thought I'd start off with just a quick definition of the word merchandising, because we've all been hearing this word kind of tossed around here and there, specifically to describe or talk about what we're seeing in the airline space. Airlines changing the way in which they're thinking about how they merchandise their products. But merchandising is essentially the planning and promotion of sales by presenting the right product to the right market at the right time and using attractive displays. So I find that to be an interesting addition to the definition of merchandising. You can actually find this definition on dictionary.com. But at Sabre, we've been helping suppliers, airlines and suppliers of all types, merchandise their products through our marketplace for many years. And the result of that today is about $100 billion in annual revenue across all suppliers each year. So quite a lot of merchandising going on in Sabre today. Let's go ahead and move to the next slide. So as we think about the evolution specifically in the airline space, the evolution of airline merchandising, as the airlines are evolving their products, we too here at Sabre are evolving our merchandising capabilities. And in fact, we've been investing for several years now and will continue to invest in the years to come to evolve our capabilities to support what airlines are looking to do with their products and services. And so as you kind of think about how airline products have evolved over time, starting on the left-hand side there with published fares, you know, those are your traditional public fares that are available to just about anybody out there in the marketplace. You've got promotional fares. Those would be, you know, kind of limited time special offers like web fares. You've got qualified discounts, so fares that are reserved for people who specially qualify, like senior citizens, government, military, child. And then you have private fares, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, the various different kinds of negotiated rates, whether those are corporate negotiated or they're net rates for wholesalers, tour operators, cruise lines, etc. But now we're seeing this move into truly targeted offers, those offers that are personalized and targeted to an individual based on who they are and information about that person. And then you're seeing the bundling and unbundling of airline products, whether that's the unbundled ancillary product, which we'll be talking very specifically about today, to bundled branded fare family type products. And those really kind of span across all these different types of offers. So what we're doing at Sabre is we're making investments that essentially enable these products, these airline products, to be shopped, booked, and managed through our marketplace through attractive displays that meet some pretty important requirements. First of all, we've got to make sure that we can enable multi-airline shopping and multi-airline comparison shopping and providing transparency of total cost, and doing it in a way that not only helps suppliers grow their revenue and differentiate their brand, but also helps buyers, travel agencies, corporate customers, etc., to be able to continue to efficiently shop, book, and manage. Let's go ahead and move to the next slide. And I'll share a few examples of those attractive displays within the Sabre Red workspace. You know, to the lay person, this may not be, they may not consider this to be an attractive display. But the fact of the matter is that this is the environment in which most travel agencies work. This is Sabre Red workspace, and this is what we call classic view, or an environment where, you know, classically trained travel agents are very efficient in using the host-based commands. All the screenshots that I'm going to be showing you are live in Sabre today, are capabilities that we have live in our system today. And here what I'm showing you is how we've integrated in the shopping and booking of airline ancillary products. Specifically here, I'm showing you Alitalia lounge passes. And we also have on-screen advertising. You saw the Discover the Latest News from Alitalia ad that we placed right there on the screen when the agent was shopping and booking Alitalia. They're able to click through, be able to see rich media integrated right into our agency work environment. These capabilities are here today and actually are not difficult. We can enable graphics, photos, videos right inside of the agency work environment. On the next slide, you'll see our new graphical view. So we do have a graphical environment where agents are starting to use this environment whether they're new or just because it actually supports the ability to shop and get a lot of information, whether that's all of the new products that airlines have to offer, or whether it's shopping, map-based shopping for hotels, etc. And what you can see here is our fare-led shopping path, where we have integrated in the ability to actually shop for airfares and at the same time include airline ancillary products right into that shopping request and into the response information. So from this screen, the agent can select that they want to include 2 bags and a pre-reserved seat. And then on the next slide, you can see that the results are inclusive of those ancillary products if the airline is offering them, and also provides total price information, which takes the traditional base fare, taxes, fees, and surcharges, adds in the airline ancillary products, and creates total price transparency right there at their fingertips on the screen. You can also see we can put on-screen advertising again here, advertising U.S. Airways Choice seats in this market that U.S. Airways serves, and we recently implemented the sale of U.S. Airways Choice seats. So if you move to the next slide, you can see here that U.S. Airways or any airline can very easily promote right on screen features and benefits of their new products and services. On the next slide, you can see our graphical seat map. We've had graphical seat map capabilities within the Sabre environment for many, many years, and we continue to make enhancements to the seat map to support the visualization of the in-flight amenities and different product offerings that airlines are putting into the marketplace. And in this case, you can see here the premium seats that U.S. Airways offers for free to elite travelers, as well as their paid seats, their choice seats, in this case $25. Is right there in the seat map. Very easy to see what's available and what's free and what is at a charge. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. I'm just going to wrap up here in terms of screenshots with a view of branded fares. So on the bundled side of things, airlines who have created branded all-in products that promote distinct features and benefits, and we've been integrating this information into the agency environment for well over 5 years now. And we're continuing to invest. We're actually making a pretty big investment in this area this year to enable the display of those products, the features and benefits, helping drive upsell into higher fare categories, and then tying branded fares to ancillary products. So on the next slide, so we talked a little bit about how airline products are evolving, and we've talked about how Sabre is evolving. But as we're out talking to different kinds of agencies and other technology providers, agencies are evolving too. They are having to ready themselves and make changes to enable the changes that are going on in the marketplace. And they kind of fall into these 4 different categories. On the left-hand side, in terms of customer requirements, whether they're a corporate agency, TMC, or a leisure agency, online travel agency, or a niche leisure agency, they have to think about what are their client needs, what do their customers want in terms of the ability to comparison shop and see total price, being able to apply corporate travel policy and negotiated rates, all the operational requirements. So it's not just about the front end shopping and booking, it's all the mid and back office components, the training of agents who are essentially shopping and booking these products across hundreds of airlines, so there's a lot for them to know. The business model. Clearly, the economics are very important, and any changes that would occur to their airline contracts or their client contracts. And then, of course, there are technology implications as well, the investments required to integrate this throughout the various technologies that any agency may have in their environment. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. So at Sabre, the way in which we are able to make all of this happen is by leveraging industry technology standards. At Sabre, we are very big supporters of the evolution of industry technology standards in order to enable the broad and rapid deployment of these new products and services. We do have a lot of flexibility in our system. We are leveraging not only the standards that I've listed out here, the ATPCO, OC optional services, the IATA, EMD for fulfillment, but we are also members and supporters of Open Travel Alliance, and we have Open Travel XML based solutions throughout our portfolio, and in fact use these throughout our business for all supplier types, and have these implemented to support airline merchandising as well. So what these standards help us ensure maximum success in this space by developing and evolving standards and getting products out into the market as quickly as possible. And on the last slide, I'll wrap with that what's really very important from Sabre's perspective is making sure that we're bringing airline products and services into the marketplace, that we're enabling those products, whether they're bundled or unbundled, air extras or branded fares in the case of Sabre's products, and integrating those throughout the workflow, shopping, booking, fulfilling all of the back-end itinerary, invoice, back office, and reporting processes, but then enabling those through web services. So whether the travel agency is utilizing Sabre or Sabre Red Workspace in the office, or whether they're on the go, or it's a traveler who's using a corporate booking tool or a mobile device, that all of these capabilities can be made available in the marketplace through our web services. And so with that, that is all I have to share today. Thank you very much, and I'll turn it back to Kevin.
Thank you so much, Shelly. I'm really hoping that it's warmer in South Lake today than it is here in the UK. It's absolutely freezing here. So anyway, thank you very much to Shelly for sharing those. As I said at the beginning there, you can quiz our panel at the end. Shelly will be on that, so we'll be involved in that Q&A, as indeed will our other two presenters. So any questions that you might have for Shelly, any kind of technical questions, I'm sure she'll try and answer those, or indeed point you in the direction of someone who may be able to help. So before we get to the other two panels, we wanted to throw another poll open here. So this is the question for you all. What are the most popular ancillary services that travellers are willing to pay for? So, and you've got 5 choices here. Apologies if one of the is the most popular is not listed, but please try and answer one of these 5. So, additional bag allowance, fast track benefits, lounge access, meal services, or pre-assigned seats. Which one of these is the most popular in your experience so far? As it stands at the moment, with 3/4 of you having voted, we have a very clear winner. That's certainly one that we'll be getting to in the Q&A, I think. Right, Jean, I think if we can throw open those results now. So, just over half, 56% of you say pre-assigned seats. Lounge services, or lounge access and various meal services, are lowly 4% each. Additional bag allowance, nearly 1/4 there at 22, and fast track benefits, priority boarding, things like that, 14%. So pre-assigned seats quite clearly in the majority there. So thank you very much, everybody, for voting. I'm now going to hand over to Aldo Ponticelli, who is in Rome in Italy today. Aldo, we're very keen on hearing from you how you as an airline is kind of tackling this and what you've been doing with Sabre. Looking forward to what you've got to say. Aldo, over to you, sir.
Good morning or afternoon, everybody. I'm really glad that tnooz and Sabre gave me the opportunity to describe and share with you Alitalia experience in ancillary services distribution. And I really hope that our experience will inspire some of you in its daily business. So let's start then, and please go to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, easy to decide to develop ancillary sales through direct channels. To decide to develop ancillary sales through the indirect channels, through trade, require to us a decision path that is synthesized in this checklist. First of all, an airline must understand whether its business will remain for long on the full service side or move to an hybrid or low-cost service. And if it's on the full service, for sure, the distribution through trade of ancillary will be most favored, most welcome. The distribution model next. Are you, as an airline, adopting a full content relationship with the GDS, or are you working through the distribution without any commitment with the GDS? We were and we are on a full content side, and so this was another plus for our decision to go to the indirect distribution of our ancillary. Our commercial strategy. We are moving from a full bundling service in our pricing to a unbundling of some services from the basic pricing, and this evolution, let's say, influenced positively the decision to distribute through trade our ancillary. The direct channel penetration is another element that an airline must consider and that Alitalia considers, so the next one. That means that if you have a very strong direct channel penetration, maybe you may decide to keep your ancillaries for your direct channel and avoid the distribution through the trade. So it's a very logical and net decision, but this is what an airline usually go through. And then at the end, but not least, are you ready for, technically speaking, and your host system is ready to support you in the long walk through the deployment of ancillary services? And I must say that our technical team has an excellent, very high competencies on the subject, and our readiness was, as far as system was concerned, was also there, because we now are based on a legacy system or our own, so we did not have to ask any other third party to develop it for us. So we decided to go through a trade distribution of our ancillary service. Next slide, please. What was the scenario, the technological and regulatory scenario we found out in front of us? IATA has ruled the subject, saying to all the carriers that by the end of 2013 they will phase out the VMDT that is now used for some services sales. Then IATA has ruled the booking process and the EMD, the ticket for the ancillary, as I say sometimes. The booking process is ruled in, let's say, an open way. You can have different interpretation of some standards, while the EMD is much more strict, and so everybody is adopting it in the same way. ATPCO has a full and detailed list of optional services codes already available, and some more are growing because each airline developing this distribution of fares for the ancillary has particular needs that require new filing of new codes from ATPCO. What about the PSS, the passenger services system? They reflect a little bit the GDS approach. If you are on one PSS held and owned by one of the main GDS, you may find the development of booking process and of EMD pretty similar to the one that you find on the distribution side. Some of them have also developed API and web service content feed to the agency. Therefore, GDS has developed the SSR in a pretty differentiated way. You may see that some of them use only SSR ASDC. This is only for technical, but it's my contribution to this part. Some other use IATA Standard Plus or bilateral SSR plus ASBC, some other developed API only. So it's a pretty, on the booking side, on the booking process, it's a pretty very variable scenario, while for the EMD, everybody adopted the same standard. What is still missing? The next highlight, please. As I said many times, a unique standard for the booking process. The DCS are still working on developing the final phase of the ancillary experience, so how to close the EMD when used at the station. And then the interlineability of EMD is still a very complex issue. Next slide, please. What is the path of Alitalia in this scenario? Alitalia decided that we wanted to go on an unbundling of some services to compete with lower pricing with low-cost and high-speed train on medium and domestic routes, and to offer on-demand new services. What is the Alitalia strategy then? To be a little bit opportunistic, to choose the trade as the main channel through which to distribute ancillary, even if having developed the links with the GDS only recently, we still have a much higher number of EMD issued through the direct channel than through the indirect channel. So we consider more convenient to have a multi-channel distribution strategy as well for the ancillaries, which has what has been our roadmap. In November 2010, we developed either the EMD standalone and the DMD associated for our direct sale channel. Next year, in December 2011, we developed a fair quote system for our direct channel, the physical one, for the call center, ATO, and CTO. And in February 2012, we powered our web that was selling ancillary without EMD with EMD. And what about the channel trade? In August 2012, we were between the first airline to implement the sale of ancillary services through trade with Sabre. And we are very proud of this, and we thank all the Sabre team who have supported us in this effort and having succeeded in that. In October 2012, we followed up with the second GDS, implementing the Italian market, and in March 2013, in a few days, we will implement on the Italian market the third main GDS with the sale of ancillary services through trade. In the first half of 2013, we completed this roadmap by developing new ancillary services. We will see the detail in the next two slides. What about the interlining EMD? This is still far from for us, and we plan to adopt it or to develop or to work at this in year 2014. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the roadmap we have already walked through for the release of services. You see that in August, we released all the baggages services that go from first baggage, extra weight, extra size, standard sports equipment, and so on, plus lounge access in the with the first GDS who supported us, as I said before, and with which we developed the sales through trade in August 2012. Then we followed with the fast track in December and with the trip insurance in January. And the trip insurance has been developed with AGDS and with our trip insurance partner, A Group, with which we have been working to a completely new process that we invented from scratch together with them and with the GDS. Next will be in April, the release of a pre-reserved seat assignment that you showed us are the most favorite between the services that you look for and that we will be able to provide in the next couple of months. And by the end of May, we target to release as well celebration and premium meetings. Next slide, please. Now we see the ancillary sales development, ancillary services development through the market. We have just this list of markets because these are the markets where we have our own DCS, the partial control system, and so where we can fully implement the ancillary sales. The red one is the first DCS, that is Sabre, with which we were the second adopter worldwide, and with which we developed and implemented already today, in August, September, and October, all these markets with ancillary sales. Second one is the second GDS. I will not disclose the name, but you can make some evaluation and guess on your side. Went live in October 2012 in Italy, and then followed up with the plan that you see there. And with them, we were the second adopter, considering not GDS system users. So between these airlines that were not using their own host system. And with the third, in a few days, we will start in Italy, and then in the next, would you please show the next? Thank you. And with the third one, as I said, in March, we will go live with a very large amount of market implemented. So let's go to the next slide, please, because we wanted to just highlight which are the advantages, according to us, for the client, the agent, and then the carrier. So it's, for us, a win-win-win, because there are three parties in this case, situation and solution. The client is mainly about seamless experience. Clients can buy in advance and have a larger choice of services. The first thing will be the best served, and avoid time loss at the airport because he has already got his ex-baggage EMD, or because he has already done all the activity that he needs to do in advance. Then whatever will happen to his ticket, the service, the ancillary service will follow the same evolution. So any changes, refund, will be treated in the same way, either for the ticket and also for the EMD and for the service. And then he can, and then he will be able to pay as he pays today in any agency, pay with cash, credit card, invoice, so with no limitation to his current process. Agent, according to us, which are the advantages for the agent? One that is mainly related to the channel appeal of the agency is that the agent will still be a one-stop shop, will still be a place where the customer can find all the contents of the airline. And we believe that this is still one of our main targets. Then the agent will not be forced to use more than one service, more than one system. Not only use the GDS and then VSP Link and then other side platform, but just use the GDS as Shelly showed before. In a seamless experience, he will be able to sell all the services required by the passenger. Paperless, no paper, no hassle, no storage, and that is surely an advantage. And then he will be able to handle the payment completely integrated in the current settlement system, BSP or ARC, without no side accounting, no side effort, no reconciliation. Great advantage. Integrated back office is then the last but not least important element for us. So it's mainly channel appeal and products. And what about the carrier? We have the access to a wider customer market. All the trades allowed to sell these services will be for us, our sales people. Then we will have important enhancement in the pace. And anytime we want to include a new service, the development will be, once we started, will be much faster than before. So we will be able to include further services in our portfolio. Then we shifted the effort from airport activity to the sales process. So it's the booking time and the ticketing time. avoiding cost and also problems at the airport. We have an access to all forms of payments, as I said before, and then this process through the EMD is much more secure. No risk in money collection, no risk in the revenue accounting evaluation, and very quick evaluation of the sales done through this system because it's an electronic one and we know about it a few days after it's done, and also a much reduced fraud risk. So these are the advantages, the main ones that we listed and that are for us important. But then when we talk about system, we also think that systems are important, but people are sometimes and more often even more important. So to do all of this, that for us was a dream a few years ago, and for us it's something true, something there, concrete, on our end, in our market, we need people. We need the competences of people because without that we could never do it. And I really thank all the people of the GDS team and all my people dealing with it because they've been really great. It takes time, it takes two to tango, somebody said. And so if there is no partnership with the GDS, nothing could happen. So GDS did a big job with us, and Sabre did a great job for this first adoption. Innovation. You cannot go there and read a manual of what you have to do. You have to read the manual, but you also have to constantly invent a workaround to make it come true, because otherwise you stop and you get stuck at the first problem. So great innovation of technical teams working at it. Project management is a constant element of everybody, every project. Pace. Continuous focus. I've been jumping on the technical issue from every week, every other week, because you need constantly to take the pace and the focus to deliver it. And then the management commitment, because you need as well sometimes to escalate to make it come true. Now we are ready then to the next slide to go out and talk to our clients together with you. And so focus on them, focus on sales, because we are here to stay and we are here to gain together with you. So I'm done, and I hand back to Kevin to proceed with the webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Aldo. Really interesting stuff getting the carrier's perspective. So very conscious of the time here, and we do want to have a few minutes at the end for some questions from the audience, of which we've started to have a few come in. So please don't hesitate to send some more through. So delighted to introduce Liz Mandarino. As I said earlier, she's in Pennsylvania and she's the president of World Travel Incorporated. So Liz, over to you. We're looking forward to hearing what you've got to say.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you very much to tnooz, Jean and Kevin, for the opportunity to participate and to share our story here at World Travel on ancillary fees and how we're educating our customers and supporting the effort of full transparency. I will be much less technical today and just sort of tell World Travel's story. Our company has really supported this effort. We have been advocates for public consumers and for our corporate clients. World Travel, myself, I've attended 2 DOT meetings along with several of our clients, and I think it's fair to say that airlines are not responding to the concerns of Congress and the DOT on lack of transparency. It appears that they're just ignoring the pressure to display ancillary fee data. I personally was the only TMC representing the travel community. World Travel customers were the only consumers present. And I also served as a panel member with Open Allies at the Press Club earlier in the summer, along with one of our valued customers, Darla Montalto. She's the travel manager for Major League Baseball. She represented the consumer, particularly the corporate customer, and I represented the TMC. Next slide. Awareness and education and what World Travel is doing to make sure that our customers are fully apprised of what's going on in the industry as it relates to this. Our initiatives for transparency are to, we do weekly corporate bulletins, and we include plenty of information on that. We have newsletters that we send out. We do customer reviews, quarterly year-end reviews. We make sure that we're constantly educating them on what's going on in our industry as it relates to this subject. We also have client symposiums. We have those twice a year, and we bring in subject matter experts to talk on these types of things, again, to keep it on the front burner. Next slide. Our continued support. Transparency is key for corporate travel managers. The one-stop shop, as Aldo said, is what's incredibly important to corporate customers. We can really support the airlines in their effort with point of sale, our ability to be able to actually increase their profits by making all of ancillary fee data available to us so that we can help sell those ancillary services. We've been successful with those types of things in the past, and I'm sure we would certainly be able to do that again. The customer wants to comparison shop. My fear is that consolidation and lack of competitiveness is going to kind of distract this effort. All of these opportunities, regardless of the distribution channel, should be displayed. Our customers are asking us to help them reconcile these charges. So it's just something that we really need to stand behind and keep, again, on the front burner so that we can all make sure that we're doing our best for our customers. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Liz in Pennsylvania. So, right, we've suddenly had a flurry of questions come in the last couple of minutes. So I'm just trying to juggle all of these now. So apologies if I'm sounding a little bit stretched. So thank you very much to our three panelists. I'd like to kind of kick things off with the following question from Salim, who, let me just get his questions up here. And apologies, I said we've just had a flurry of them come in. So his question appears to have gone. So let's say we'll go to Teddy Proctor. Teddy, thanks for your question. Teddy asks, we've seen an increase in upsell fares in the GDS. These fares are not discounted, but do have a specific amount added to the base fare. Teddy continues, we're having difficulty understanding these fares. What do they actually represent? I suppose that's one for you, Shelly, first as the GDS representative here today.
Thanks, Kevin. Teddy, I'm not sure if I fully understand your question or your description of upsell fares. I can certainly speak to branded fares or fares that have unique attributes associated with them, fares that allow changes or allow standby, or maybe have a reduced change fee, or maybe include a bag and a seat, or don't allow a seat assignment at all. But I'm not sure if that's exactly what you're talking about. So, Kevin, I don't know if there's a way to clarify.
Yeah, we'll see if Teddy can send in. Of course, yeah, we'll see if Teddy can send in an additional question. So, Vivi, and apologies, Vivi, if I don't pronounce your surname correctly here. Vivi Moikengoa asks, does the cost of the different aspects of the fare find its way into the data from the airline to the TMC?
Can you repeat the question again real quick, Kevin?
Of course, yes. Does the cost of the different aspects of a fare find its way into data from the airline to the TMC?
Well, I can certainly take a first stab at that. So if all of the costs associated with purchasing the ticket are inclusive in the kind of that single purchase of a ticket, so it's the fare plus the taxes, fees and surcharges, which are today all inclusive into a ticket price. All of that information today comes from the airline, passes through Sabre as well as other systems, through to the agency, and then to any systems or clients that need that information. If it is ancillary data, such as seat fees and bag fees and other types of things that might be purchased separate from the ticket, those purchases can certainly be integrated from the airline through Sabre, through the agency, to the degree that that information is being made available in Sabre's marketplace. The agent can shop it, book it, fulfill it. Then all that same flow of information that you get for ticket sales, you would also get that for all of those other products.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. This is a question from Walter Schutt. Walter says, KLM, the Dutch carrier, has announced a €15 charge for first bag starting middle of April, unless you are a member of its frequent flyer program. The lowest and biggest category is not supported by ATPCO, for example. This creates big problems for travel agents. How can this, and I suppose generally, maybe not to speak specifically about KLM, how can this fit into the GDS? And I guess it's another one for you.
Yeah, I guess it is another one for me. Again, I am not sure why the person who submitted the question suggests that it is not supported by ATPCO. ATPCO supports, gosh, I can't even tell you the number of different kinds of bag charges. So if they're introducing what they're calling as a first bag fee, and it's €15, they would file that through the ATPCO optional services as the first bag charge. And that information can be very easily filed by the airline and flow through Sabre as other systems. So again, I'd need more information to understand why it is someone thinking that is not ATPCO compliant.
Right, just one second, go back to the beginning of the questions here. This is a question for Aldo, if I can just get to it here. You lot are great, you just sent in so many, but it messes up my screen here. Yeah, Aldo, I mean, what was the thinking behind the question was around, how many GDSs do you plan to work with? I mean, going forward, would it always be 3, or would it just be 1? I mean, what's the strategy around how you work with the GDSs, especially with a view on the ancillary revenue side of things?
Alitalia distributes through indirect channels, so through GDS, about 70%, 67% of its segments. And the 99% of this distribution through direct channel, through trade, is made by 3 GDS. So let's say the 3 that we mentioned, one of which includes 3 GDS. One is Travelport, that includes Apollo, Galileo, and Warspan. So when I talk about 3 GDS, I talk about 5 actually. So the 5 that we have implemented, or that we are about to implement, cover 99% of our bookings and tickets on the indirect channel. So our policy is that we will probably stop here, because the effort to include also the Eastern based GDS would be pretty hard, and the impact would be pretty low. So far we follow the Paretian rule of covering more than 99% with the first 3 or 5, if we want, GDS. So our policy is that we will stick to these main 3 ones that allow us to sell through all the agencies of they produce about 99% of our sales on the indirect.
Brilliant, thank you very much. I have an audience question for Liz. So Liz, I hope you weren't feeling left out there. Erica Curry-Lacerte, I hope I have pronounced your surname correctly as well, asks, as a TMC, have you seen anyone who has been able to negotiate into their airline contracts ancillary fee caps, credits, or other ways to offset the increasing fees that you're so diligently trying to get exposed?
That would be a resounding no.
Is there any additional comment you would like to make apart from the no?
I would honestly say that is something that the airlines are going to, and they've said it to me verbatim, and I will leave them nameless. That is absolutely not something that they want to enter into, and that is a huge profit margin for them, and they don't want to at all engage in negotiating that. And I've gotten that from several of the top carriers. So unfortunately, it is a resounding no.
Okay, and Gene, I think you had a question also for Liz.
Liz, I had sort of the maybe the overarching question as an observer of all airlines, all TMCs, all travel agencies, and all GDSs, including our friends at Sabre here today, we've got three senior executives in distribution and merchandising and TMCs here. As the advocate for the end user client, either a leisure traveler, a road warrior business traveler, unmanaged, or a corporate traveler, how do you see all of this evolving into balance over the next 2-3 years as IATA's NDC directives have come out, as the GDSs are wrestling with how to handle all of this on the technology side for clients like you, and as the airlines, with your resounding no in your previous answer, are interested in maximizing the merchandising opportunities around this unbundling strategy? As someone who's been in this business a long time, I'm sure you have a perspective that the race goes to the strong, not the swift. So what's your strong answer as opposed to our previous questioner's swift question?
Well, first of all, I think it's very easy to balance. It shouldn't take another 2 or 3 years to balance it. The GDSs are ready to go, full force, to make sure that all ancillary data is available for a complete cost of travel for a leisure customer or corporate customer. So, I would like to see it not take that long, because it's not really necessary for it to take that long. And now that you've mentioned IATA's NDC, obviously that is the big issue I think that we're going to be facing this year. And it's very critical. It really is critical, and I think it's not getting enough attention. It needs to get much more attention, because consumers are going to be hit very, very hard. It's going to drive up airline prices. It's very, very it's disturbing, actually, and I think that customers are going to get hit pretty hard. Where you live and what your zip code is going to be detrimental to you, is the way that it's looking now. So actually, World Travel is having another symposium in the spring, and we will have a subject matter speaker on this subject, so that our customers know what's coming and why, and what we need to do.
So, Kev, I have a follow-up question for Shelly. Shelly, you kicked this excellent session, which is a combination of actual tactical and technical abilities, and near the end here with Liz's presentation, a number of policy questions and client customer questions. Put your merchandising hat on as the head of merchandising for Sabre Travel, and try to explain some of the balance issues here that you see as an industry observer here for settling out the technical capability for airlines to sell multiple unbundled products, but the sort of fare family or loyalty program or new product opportunities that may achieve some of that balance that Liz is talking about with your merchandiser's hat on.
Sure. I'm happy to do that. I think the message came through in my presentation, but I'm happy to kind of come back to this is not at its heart a technology issue. I think we're all happy to talk about the technology investments that we're making to enable merchandising of new airline products and services, but at the heart of it, this is not a technology issue. Sabre is committed to, has been, and remains fully committed to supporting airlines to effectively and efficiently merchandise their products in our marketplace. We want healthy, profitable airlines, because that means we have a healthy, profitable, and vital travel industry. That is very important. It is something that we are committed to every single day. But there is a balance, and one of the concerns that we have with what IATA is proposing with NDC is it is a very one-sided approach. It is an approach that's being proposed by really a small group of mega carriers that we have serious concerns about the implications of what's being proposed. From our perspective, from my position and Sabre's role in providing a travel marketplace is balance. It's balance between the needs of suppliers and the needs of buyers. And every single day we're thinking about how do we help suppliers achieve their business goals, differentiate their brand, drive new sources of revenue, and do so in a way that meets buyers' needs. you know, agencies, TMCs, corporate customers, and leisure customers have very specific needs around comparison shopping, transparency of total cost, speed, efficiency, you know, application of policy, data and reporting, all sorts of governmental and regulatory requirements. So, Jean, I hope I'm hitting on what you asked, which is that it is about balance. And we'd like to think that here at Sabre, we are the ultimate of balance because that's our job. You know, we are only successful if we are able to effectively balance the needs of all of our customers.
Thanks, Shelly.
Okay. Thank you, Shelly. We're coming up to the hour. We're always conscious of everybody's time. So what I have done here is, because we had so many questions come in at the end there, we really don't have the time to get to them all. I have kept a note of all of them and who sent them in, and I will share them around the panel over the course of the next couple of days, and hopefully some of them will get back to you with some direct answers. But what's been very helpful is a chap called Andrew Marshall has kind of given us that end of session question that us as moderators always like to ask, and he says, and we can go around the panel please very quickly, and we'll come to you, Aldo, first. And he said, Andrew asks, what is, in inverted commas, the next big thing for ancillary services offered by airlines? So you as an airline, what is your response to that one, Aldo, in Rome?
The next big thing is actually we moved from a big effort on technology, and now we have to move together with the GDSs and with the travel agency to a people change management, because we are just closing the first step, the first phase. The first phase is to enable the content to arrive in the travel agency offices. But now the travel agencies have to appreciate, know how to sell it, know how to use it for their benefit, for the benefit of their clients, and for the benefit of the GDS and the airline. So the big step now is soft. Now hundreds of thousands of agencies, for example, can see our ancillaries. Now the next step is that some of them have to start to use them, start to enjoy them, start to share the advantages with their clients and use them. Then this is, let's say, the next step in a logical line with the technological implementation we have done. That is very important, that must be supported by the GDS themselves. Then next, let's say, technological topics are the one already mentioned, the NDC probably, but it's a long story to be discussed in a short webinar like this. But that is probably the next big change in the market when it will arrive.
Okay, Liz, any differing kind of view? I mean, you obviously sit in a very different position. What do you think the airlines are going to come up with as the next big thing?
To be honest, I don't know what the heck they can come up with next, but I do believe that, I do believe that we're going to see an increase in cost of the fees. I believe that that's the real concern that consumers should be looking at. That's the fear.
Okay, and Shelly, the final word goes to you at Sabre. What do you think is the next big thing?
Well, I think it's kind of similar to Liz. If I were that good at projecting and forecasting what was going to happen in the marketplace, I might have a different job making a whole lot of money. So, you know, I don't know what the next big offering is going to be from airlines, but from our perspective, I think that the next big thing is going to be really bringing all of these offerings together, whether they're bundled, all-in offerings, unbundled, ancillary offerings, and I think it's really going to be a hybrid environment around the globe. And so it's going to be really bringing these products together and helping airlines sell unique, bundled offers in the marketplace based on, different customer sets. So that's kind of where, at least I see from currently what's available, how those are going to be coming together in maybe a more elegant, sophisticated fashion down the road.
Brilliant. We're all for elegance and sophistication here at tnooz, so we'll look forward to that in the years to come. So finally, thank you so much to our panel. Aldo in Rome, Liz in Pennsylvania, and of course Shelly with Sabre in South Lake in Texas. Obviously, big thank you to Sabre Travel Network for producing this with us. I suspect we could have gone on for another half an hour at least with some of the questions that we got in, and some of them are absolutely brilliant, so we'll try and get to those. Apologies to anybody that was mentioning the audio quality. We did have some problems at one stage, but usually the recording, which will, as I said earlier, be up on TNews probably tomorrow morning, Thursday. The recordings that have come straight from the wire are usually pretty good, so please refer back to those, and indeed share this recording with any of your colleagues or customers. So finally, once again, thanks ever so much to Shelly, Aldo and Liz. Thank you to Sabre, and of course, finally, thank you to everybody for listening in. We hope you've enjoyed the webinar today. Please join us again very soon for another TNews webinar. Thanks ever so much, and goodbye.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks.
The organizer has ended the session, and this